Hi, this is Samantha Dematos, and I sort of thought I'd start doing some video stuff, and I thought maybe like a good one to start with is I suppose my backstory and how I started this, all the stuff that I'm doing at the moment and planning to do. So I suppose what kind of brought me here is that there were three big parts of my life that brought me here. Unlikely ones as well. So one was my drive to become a marine biologist. Two was my obsessively nerdy interests, and three, which makes a bit more sense, is my interest in other people and the kind of things that other people want to do with their lives. So, I mean, basically, the marine biology one started when I was a kid. My mum adored animals and everything like that, and so did I. And so basically, I was always taken to zoos and aquariums and stuff, and I absolutely loved it. And actually, it was when I saw the film Free Willy that I was like, oh my god, oh my god, that's amazing. And that's where my love of whales and dolphins started, which grew into my love of wanting to go into marine biology. As kind of like I did that, obviously, as I got older, I learned about like the state of the planet and how like messed up things kind of are. So it grew into a want to do marine conservation. Um, and basically, I realized that a lot of it was that I really wanted to make a big impact. I wanted to make a big impact with conservation. I wanted to like help the world with like I wanted to be out there doing the research that would kind of make the laws that would help that would help make a big impact to really help things. So that's the marine biology one. My super nerdy interests developed when I was a teenager. I loved video games, anime, manga, all that sort of stuff. I didn't have, growing up in London, didn't have much money, so there wasn't much I could do with marine biology. So I kind of like had my outlet of just video games all day, every day, obsessed with video games, and I sort of got into this space where I kind of like I wished I lived in a world that was more interesting. All these worlds I was playing in were like fantasy, magic, great big huge things going on. And so I kind of like started like to almost fantasize as myself as these kind of heroes. And I used to think about like myself as being like these people going out and saving the world and everything, and all that sort of stuff. I imagine myself with the superpowers and everything, which is something I still do today, but just for fun. Yeah, and the other part was my interest in people. So I had a super supportive mum, which was great, and she taught me, like through her actions, that other people's dreams are fascinating. Because she was so interested in mine, so I was super interested in everyone else's. And I like when I was in school, I'd be asking people, "Oh, what is it that you want to do?" Because I was so interested, and people would kind of go, "Oh, well, I suppose I wouldn't mind being like an actor, but it's not going to happen." And I would be mortified. I would be absolutely beside myself because I would be like, what you want to do is the most important thing. Oh my goodness, like I would be so like beside myself, and people would sometimes say to me like, "Oh, I want to do this." I remember one guy said to me he wanted to be like the person in films that does the blowing up of stuff. So like explosions and stuff. And he was like, "Oh, but I've no idea where to start." I literally went home, researched everything about being a pyrotechnic, and went like back the next day and said to him like, "Here, look, I've got everything you need to know." And he was a bit like, "Well, okay, thanks." But to me, this was like really interesting. I was just so enthusiastic about this stuff. Anyway, so those were the three kind of big things. Um, what I kind of realized was, looking back on it now, what I realized was I wanted to help. I wanted to help people, animals. I wanted to help make a difference. Like the marine biology was all about wanting to make a big impact, make a difference there. And and then the nerdy stuff. I had fantasies about being like the person to go out and like help all these people and sort out the problem. And then also obviously the people interest was very like I was interested in being interested in people. So like that externally, I kind of realized that was what was going on. But you know what? Internally, what I realized was I wanted to matter. I really wanted to be someone of significance. I wanted to matter, and that was it. I wanted to be the person who, went out there and saved all these animals in the marine ecosystem. I wanted to be that superhero that saved the day, and that was a big thing when I realized. I was just like, oh man, I just wanted to, like, because as a teenager especially, and even today, it's like I just wanted to really matter. So that was like a really huge um thing. And you know what, this went through university, and when I was there, and I realized, this was kind of coming up against me, this wall. So when I was at uni, I went to uni to do zoology, to kind of follow the marine biology stuff. And I I kind of knew then I wanted to have this global impact and reaching a lot of people. And like, I was thinking like I could get into blogging and stuff. But I do remember thinking like, oh, but the only way to have like a huge impact is like you got to be like a famous actor or singer, and that's the only way you can like speak to a lot of people. And that really wasn't my path. And I actually do remember saying to one of my friends, like in a moment of like joking exasperation, just saying, can't I just be famous for just being me? And she laughed and I laughed, on that went. Um, yeah, so I persevered. I finished my degree. I really enjoyed my degree, and I got a job in science afterwards. I was doing lab stuff. But I sort of realized I was kind of going through the motions, and I was kind of only really pursuing marine biology at this point because I didn't know what else to pursue. It was what I'd been doing, and I was just, I was kind of looking at going to like to go to my masters, to go to grad school, that sort of stuff, and I just realized, yeah, that I was kind of just I wasn't feeling it anymore, but I didn't know what else. I didn't know what else to pursue, and I felt like I had to pursue something. So that's what that was, and you know, but then at one point I did also kind of, at this point I still was having those kind of fantasies about like being like the person who saved the world, but it was kind of more in like a realistic sense. I was happy. I was now happy with the world that I lived in, the real world, and it was kind of more thinking about like, oh, these cool things that I could do as this person, and just this really cool to go out and make a difference. And after a while, I just remember like kind of almost having a word with myself and saying like, you need to decide. You need to decide now whether these are just fantasies and you're happy with that, or if you actually want to make something of these fantasies. And I was like, no, I don't want these to just be fantasies. I don't want them to just be fantasies. I want to actually I want to be this person. I want to do this. I don't know how, but I do. And I knew that if I didn't, I would like, be on my deathbed full of regrets. So yeah, I knew that, but I didn't really know what my outlet was or what. Anyway, this came in the form of when I was at work in the labs, and we were given what was called this little book called the Strength Finder Assessment, or something along those lines. And basically, what it did is you took a little test, and it showed you what your top 5 strengths were out of all these 30 strengths. And like, it was what makes you special, what makes you great. And oh my god, I loved this. I was interested in finding out my own, but more importantly, I was interested in finding out everyone else's. And I swear I became like so annoying at work because I was going around to everyone being like, have you done it yet? Have you done it yet? Have you done the thing yet? Have you done the thing yet? Have you done it yet? And they'd be like, yeah, I'm going to get to it. I'm going to get to it. And I'd just be like, come on, do it. You've got to do it. This is really cool. And I remember like, because people were taking forever to do it, I actually like decided myself to like figure out what they were, like what their top strengths were out of like the 32 or however many there were. And so I was kind of like, okay, so and so I think is this, and so I think is that. And they when they did it, I was mostly right, and give or take a few, I was mostly right, and I was very impressed with myself, and they were quite impressed as well. And I remember later I took it a step further, like a few days later, and I actually I went round to them all and said, given what I know about you, person, um, let's say the name wasn't John, but let's say John. Given what I know about you, I feel like this would be your dream job. What do you think? And like each person I did this to, and they were all like, "Whoa, yeah, damn, that'd be so cool. Oh, that'd be fun. That'd be amazing. Yeah. Oh my god, I'd love that. And like one of my coworkers said to me, "You're really good at this," and I was like, "I am really good at this." And so this is where like the sort of coaching stuff started. But I didn't know what coaching was at this point. I was just like, I don't know. Anyway, this is where my mum came in, right? Because I went home and I told her, oh, we did this thing at work and it was so cool and I was really interested in it. It was all about finding out what people's like strengths were and helping them basically, to develop that, to be better at their jobs and stuff. And that was really cool. And my mum had been watching the show Billions, and she said, "Oh, there's a character in Billions that does that. What's her name? Wendy. Wendy does that. Yeah, from Billions. That's really cool. And she has a lot of money." And I was like, "What? What?" So on I went to Google and was like, "What is Wendy from Billions' job?" And it said life coach, and I was like, "Oh, I've heard about this life coaching thing." But I thought it was like really like wispy, wishy washy kind of airy fairy stuff. Which it is in some cases, and that's fine for people who like that and want to do that. But that wasn't really what I wanted to do. But this was the first time I'd come across life coaching in the idea of helping people, with their performance be better, and all that sort of stuff. And I kind of started looking into this and was like, oh, wow, like, you know, this is really cool. So started researching, had a look, saw that you don't have to have a qualification to be a life coach. There's no like governing body, but it helps. So I actually decided to do a diploma, and at this point I had a job that was bringing me in about 20k pounds, and which is all right. Because I'd never had a loan or a credit card, I had a fine credit rating. So basically, I was able to get out a bank loan to do this diploma. And I remember having the phone and the app, and just being like, if I press this button, I'm applying for that loan, and I'll get that money, and then I will spend it on the diploma, and then I've got to do it. And it was just this. Ooh, moment. And I had a couple of friends and my mum kind of have to be like, yeah, come on, do it, this is the thing. So I did it, and I got the loan and everything, and I signed up. And so basically this whole world opened up to me. This was world of like life coaching, being online, it's kind of learned this like limitless possibility of things you can do with anything to do with coaching or entrepreneurship on the internet. And I was just, whoa, oh my god, like to me before this, being an entrepreneur or a business owner meant kind of like owning a shop where you're selling, I don't know, brooms and stuff, and I didn't care about brooms. Like I really had to care about the stuff I was selling. And so that's all it meant to me. But now it's kind of like, oh my god, this is really interesting, and oh my god, like, and also you don't need to have like any kind of history in business or any knowledge of business to actually make this work. And oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, it was like all this information coming at me, and I was just wow. So I learned that I absolutely could make money from my long-standing interest in people's life dreams, and that was like, whoa, oh my god, this is like the most amazing thing ever. So I was really into this, but then it was like, oh, but how the hell do you do this? I'd learned about people who were like earning so much money doing this stuff, and it was possible. But then it was like, how? Oh, like, oh my god, I can do this. Oh my god, yes, I can do this. Yes, I can do this. Oh, how? Basically, as I became really good at coaching. I've got like a lot of successes so far with like my first client, like she figured out she wanted to move to New Zealand and off she went. Well, that was really cool. Um and I but at the same time, I was a bit like, the thing is though, what I essentially need to do, I need to convince people that I am worth paying for to have a conversation with. Like, that's what coaching is. It's a powerful conversation. God, like, it is worth it. But like, convincing people who've generally speaking not heard of coaching, that I am worth being paid for to have a conversation with. That's a tough thing to convince people to do, because I'm one who has like no sales experience ever. At this point, I hadn't even, I actually have a sales job at the moment, just like a part-time one to pay some of the bills. But at this point, I had no science. I'd had no sales at all. Um, So, I was a bit like, oh my God, how on earth do I do this? And I went through lots and lots and lots of ideas. There was so much, that I kind of went through, and I researched so many other people how they were doing it, but so many of it seemed like, oh, that's not right for me. And I felt like the thing is with this is it needs to feel right for me. So like I tried out bits here and bits there, and was just like, I know this works for that person, but it just doesn't feel right for me. I don't feel like myself like doing that. And then I kind of, and so basically I kind of realized I need to showcase who I am and figure out, what do I really care? Why do I want to do this coaching? I need to help, and that's when I came to my little mantra that I've got, which is the world needs you to be you. And I felt like this is everything that I really believe in and I've always believed in since I was a kid. That that's what the world needs: more people able to express themselves and who they are, and for that I need to lead by example. I need to really be myself and show people that that's right and acceptable, and that you can be successful by just being yourself. Essentially, I needed to become famous for just being me. Which, of course, is the thing that I said to my friend in absolutely a moment of jokiness in university 5 years ago. And it was just one of those, oh, how funny how things work out, yeah. Um, so yeah, I needed to, how to, I needed to figure out how do I get listened to, and I needed to make videos and be on social media. But building social media following is hard. And so I was a bit like, oh no, but like, I need to get people to listen to me now. And I tell you what, like, and that really solidified to me when people say setting up this stuff is hard. And for me, I learned that like it's not hard in the sense that like if you can't do a pull up, then doing the one pull up is hard. And it's that one hard thing, and oh my God, and then once you've done it, oh, you've done it. You've done the hard thing. That's not the kind of hard people are talking about. What's hard is the fact that you just need to consistently keep doing it, and it's going to take a long time. You need to keep showing up consistently, and no one is going to watch you at first, and no one is going to give you feedback, and no one is going to follow you, and no one is going to care. And all the times you say on your posts, hey, like, this is what I'm doing, what are you doing with your life right now, and no one is going to respond to you for a while. No one is going to. And it is really disheartening. But it's all about, you've got to keep the consistency going. When you feel like, what's the point? When you feel like, what on earth is the point? You've got to keep doing it, because eventually it will pay off. And that's the hard part. It's easy to just kind of show up and make a video, like for some people. It's easy to just write a post, to make a Facebook post, to make an Instagram post. It's easy to do that. That's not the hard part. The hard part isn't necessarily making the post, it's the consistency of making the post again and again and again and again. So that's what's hard. And that's kind of what I learned, and that's kind of been my big thing. And so that's what I'm doing now. I am going to just be consistent, and I say I'm going to be consistent. I'm going to post videos. When I'm going to post them, I don't know, but I'm going to do it. And I figured it was just best if I just document this whole process, this whole journey, because then, when I do make it, people will be able to go back to these videos and be like, oh my God, they were just like me one day. So that's the plan, and that's what I'm going to be doing. So yeah. At the moment, I'm a little bit like, how the hell do I finish a video? What do I say? What do I do? So I'm going to just finish this video by saying, that's what I'm going to do. That's what I'm going to do. And I don't know how to properly finish this video, so that's going to finish it there.